Al final de estos tiempos, iniciada la era de Acuario, Calichuga, la madre cosmos, Pachamama, agoniza. Sus hijos guerreros de Tahuaiti suyo, arcoíris, acuden a su llamado. Moches, campas, quechuas, mapuches, tupís, guaranís, nazcas y pachacama, guiados por Inti Huiracocha para formar una nueva nación sin fronteras. Musupacha tierra nueva.
Flying on long red-eye flights to South America, our family of four was off on an adventure. First, we were greeted at the Cusco airport with coca leaves to chew to fight altitude sickness now that we were at 11,000 feet elevation. We were driven past the statue of Patchacute, the most famous Inca of them all. Then watched the moon disappear in the approaching sunrise.
América Latina es un misterio de pueblos, de valles, de ríos y montañas. América Latina es un misterio. América Latina es un enigma. Los pueblos cansados están de tanta miseria y dolor. Pachamama. Los pueblos cansados están de tanta miseria y dolor. Pachamama.
We stopped at a vista over the city of Urubamba, the beginning of the Sacred Valley of the Inca. Excited to try to capture the moment, we stood at the edge and looked down into the misty valley. It contained the fabled Urubamba River, a headwater of the Amazon. Our extraordinary drive took us down to the valley floor. We had dropped in elevation to 9,400 feet. The Sacred Valley contains the fabled Inca Trail. This is a place of history, mystery, and natural beauty. Our few days here would be on the Inca Trail, our awe-inspiring final destination, Machu Picchu.
Casa Andina would be our home here in the Sacred Valley. After unloading from the tour bus, we entered the spacious, high-ceiling lobby of Casa Andina. We checked in at the front desk, had a cup of coca tea, and then passed a few local women selling their hand-woven souvenirs. We made our way through the garden to find our lodgings. We were surrounded by the magnificent Andes Mountains. It was truly awesome to be all together in Peru. After so many hours of sitting on airplanes and on the bus, we decided to take a walk from our resort through the nearby village and take some photographs of exquisitely beautiful Peru. That night, we had a presentation from our wonderful tour guide, Victor.
Let me test these whisper devices, okay? This will be for our stay here in Peru, because in each country, let me tell you that we are going to have this equipment, the whisper devices. So we are going to be using in the portion of Peru. So then when we'll go to Brazil, so they are going to be providing us the same thing when we'll go to Argentina, and as well for the last part of the program.
Into the resort dining room for our first dinner, we started to get acquainted with the other travelers. A blind musician, Felix Luna, played the harp for us as we ate the local cuisine. Yummy appetizers, including empanadas, came first on the menu, then quinoa soup. Quinoa originated in the Andes of Peru, where it's been cultivated for over 4,000 years. In addition, we ate potatoes, also originally from Peru, followed by cheesecake.
We awoke on a fabulous sunny day in the Andes. Aaron and I were staying on an upper floor. We all met and then went to the lobby to get some cocoa leaf tea. It helped us to get used to being at the 9,400 foot elevation.
I would like to introduce Mrs. Holly Whistler. Please, everybody, welcome to Holly. Thank you. The lecture this morning is about the Andean culture and the history of the Inca's time. Okay? Thank you so much. Holly?
Good morning. Good morning. I have some people here to introduce, but before I introduce my compadres here, let me just say I'm very happy to be with you this morning. I too just flew into Cusco the day before yesterday, so I think we're in the similar situation. We're all kind of like this, right?
Holly Whistler introduced Dante, who she's educating in the United States. Juana is his aunt and lives in one of the most remote places in the Peruvian Andes, along with her husband Juan. They are of the Cuero tribe.
Ya, bueno, huayquipanaykuna, ñuqaqa kunasta paykikichis, comadre Juli,
Victor, Juana's brother, spoke to us in Quechua, the language of the Inca Empire, still common in the highlands of the Andes. Holly showed us on a map of Peru where these Cuero are located. Their lives are lived almost unchanged from the ancient Inca ways. She also showed us antique drawings to illustrate how the Cuero continue the old tradition of foot plows to plant potatoes and corn. The women continue to use spindles to turn llama wool into yarn. The greatest Inca ruler was Patchacute, revered today all over Peru. Patchacute died before everything changed for the Inca. In 1528, Spanish conquistadors entered the Inca Empire. They conquered and controlled vast areas of Peru. They ultimately destroyed the Inca culture. Some people escaped over bridges made of grass and rope into the highlands of the Andes using the Inca Trail. Some were left untouched by the conquest. Because of their remote location, these gentle and kind Q'ero people who lived in the isolated Andes escaped much of the influence of the Catholic Spanish. We waved goodbye as the four Q'eros left us, carrying a lighter load of their beautiful hand-woven goods.
Amigos, after this we are going to Ollantaytambo. We are going to have the opportunity to pass by and go to Ollantaytambo many times, more than one. Okay, this morning we are going because we are going to have the meeting with the people that is taking care of this organization for the dormitory girls. They are going to be waiting for us. So I told you that we are going to have lunch, but before going to have the meeting, I would like to suggest to have a moment to go for the drug stores in case if you need to buy some black lotion.
First things first, we went to the ATM to get some Peruvian currency, the sol, about 3 sol to the American dollar. Everywhere the dollar is accepted, but we prefer to dive into the local culture as much as possible. And here we were, completely surrounded by Peruvian culture in the main square of Ollantaytambo. Around 1438, the Inca Emperor Patchacute conquered and razed Ollantaytambo. It then became the home of the Inca nobility. The emperor had new extensive crop terraces and granaries built all over the Urubamaba Valley. Ollantaytambo was rebuilt with sumptuous stone buildings. Many of these ancient buildings remain. Ollantaytambo has been continuously occupied since those times and holds exquisite stone buildings with massive stone lintels that attest to their royal heritage. We looked down the many paths from the main square and wanted to explore them, but that would have to wait for a later time. We had other priorities today, so we wandered around the square, soaking in the local picturesque and colorful culture. maybe we'll do a bit of shopping. How about a mask? Or maybe a cute llama hat. We came upon a woman doing multicolored weaving.
Aún hay los dos peces. Así.
Okay, but which one? They're also fun with frogs and llamas woven into them. Or maybe a geometric one. Okay, get that geometric one. The weaver departed and crossed the square. Then we realized it was our meeting time for lunch. We were also to have a presentation from a woman representing a boarding school for disadvantaged girls. Our local guide Yvonne translated for us.
Small towns, small villages that are on top of the mountains, 4, 5, 6 hours away from here. And most of them they have to walk because there's no public transportation to these places. So they have to walk for hours and hours in solitary roads that go up the mountains there. Gracias.
Es por eso que para evitar que las niñas tengan que caminar cada día tantas horas, armamos un dormitorio acá y otro igual en Calca, que es una ciudad a 1 hora de acá, con la idea de que las niñas no necesiten trasladarse cada día hasta los centros educativos.
So they start this project in 2010 here in Ollantaytambo because it seemed to be that this was the place where they found most of the problem, with the girls coming from far away.
We left the square and set off going down the back streets heading for the countryside and the girls' school and dormitory. We passed the ancient adobe walls and the old Inca water system, still in use today nearly 600 years later. That's impressive. We came to the Urubamba River. It originates in the high Andes and flows through the Sacred Valley, ultimately ending at the Amazon. Its waters are believed to be the tears of the Apu, or the Inca mountain spirits. Passing through farm fields, we came to the Sacred Valley Project dormitory. In the courtyard of the girls' school, our local guide, Yvonne, explained that currently 18 girls board here but are now on school holiday. They live upstairs and have classes on the first floor. They include English with math, geography, culture, and other subjects from several teachers. Once more in the courtyard, we passed the girls' kitchen garden as we exited through the gate, went by neighbors doing their laundry, and finally arrived back at our tour bus.
The reason why we call it the Sacred Valley of the Incas is mainly because it's born from snow-melted water that comes from the glaciers.
The red bag on the long stick signifies fresh corn beer for sale in this chicheria. We entered for a lesson on Chicha.
Our host this afternoon is Flora, and she works here. She works in the Chicha place. Chicha places are known as chicherias. During the pre-Inca times, before the Incas, long time before the Incas, they were already making an alcoholic beverage made out of corn. This is like a corn beer. That's what it is. The chicha is normally yellow like this because it comes from here.
Tienes que tomártelo todo.
Sí, sí, claro. From the yellow corn. See, these are the different varieties, and that's why they have a basket right here with this different color corn, because they want to show you what they produce in the Sacred Valley of the Incas. Sprouted corn is what they will be using to make the chicha. The sprouts are the ones that will ferment the chicha. Okay? So this will go into that pot that you see over there. So when we drink chicha, also we say arriba, arriba, abajo, al centro y adentro. ¿Dónde está?
We all tried the chicha, fermented from sprouted corn. Large vats of chicha sat in the corner fermenting for thirsty drinkers. An ancient hearth sat in another corner. It had supplied years of soot to the walls in this chicheria, covered with ceramic pots, figurines, and other interesting items. Outside, we learned the ancient Inca game Sapo. It originated from an old belief that if the frog caught a coin in its mouth, the player would be instantly awarded with a wish, and the frog would turn into solid gold.
Very good.
Yeah, because what is happening is that we have the new edition, and this is the old one.
Getting worse as we go. All right.
It was apparent some of us have spent way more time in pubs than others. We left the chicheria, driving into the city of Urubamba to visit a famous couple who create beautiful pottery.
Inside the showroom of Seminario ceramics, we ogled the various items, taking pictures in the afternoon sunlight. Then we went to a video presentation explaining the history of this talented married couple. They began their business in the 1970s making small models of Machu Picchu. Ultimately, they moved on to more sophisticated creations. A tour of the studio came next.
About our clay that we use now, we don't use any more than local clay now. Our clay comes from Nazca, that's the south of Lima. We use now that clay because it has good quality. So we are working with this type of clay for about 8 years, more or less. Okay, so now we are continuing to that way. You can take pictures here, then we are continuing.
They use both the potter's wheel and molds for their large variety of products. In this studio, they often cool and paint their pots in the natural air. There are large antique pots in the garden that also contains a small corral with llama. On to another workshop, this time that of an owner, the wife, Mary Lou.
So welcome, I don't know if you saw the video.
Yes.
We did. So Pablo and he's doing more sculptures and he has his own place, and I usually take care of the utilitarian to this part of the work and the painting. So we are usually like 12 people in this area, and the ladies have been here between 15 and 20 years. So we can work large pieces and we can work a couple of pieces together, and each one takes care of it.
Out the window of his workshop, we saw the other owner, Pablo, the husband. Up we went to meet him.
Pablo Seminario, and you already are visiting this workshop that is an art project that is been developed through many years in this town. I grew up in Peru.
Pablo showed us how far he's come from the days of creating models of Machu Picchu. He now makes fanciful items, sometimes based on Inca motifs, and often just whimsical pieces that are popular with the customers. We chatted with Pablo and then left to go down to the courtyard. Jay enjoyed the dogs there, and I found a kitten in the bushes before going into the showroom.
Especially and its surroundings, like the Sacred Valley of the Incas, they get a huge benefit from tourism. That's why 65% of the population is involved somehow in the tourist business. So thanks to the tourist industry, we have a lot of people that get a job here. And of course, we get a lot of income from tourism.
That evening, out in the countryside, we went to an enchanting hacienda for dinner. The estate was founded in the 1600s and belongs to the Lombari Orihuela family. It has a wonderful collection of Peruvian art housed in private museum rooms. We began in a large space with a wonderful fireplace. It was set for a banquet.
Okay, and since we are on the way to the place where we are actually having dinner, this piece is right here. If I put this access, look at this right here. Look at this right here. What we have here are pieces that go down to the Inca times as far as 100 BC. 100 BC. And then we have skills from the Inca times as well. And these representations of the
Never once to miss an opportunity for a photo, we posed in front of the roaring fire, and then roamed around examining this family's varied collection. Having just visited a Peruvian pottery, we were really interested in the objects. This family had originally come from Spain and were awarded this property over 400 years ago. They boast that Simon Bolivar once stayed here.
All the most important, prominent families used to have in Cusco and all over the country as well, and all over South America. You will find paintings like this in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. You will find paintings like this also in Chile, in Santiago. Why? Because of the Cusco's art school. The Cusco's art school was very famous. The Spanish monks managed to train a lot of native people there because they have very good skills for art, and they start training them to do this kind of art with the purpose of decorating all the churches that they were building.
Artworks made by local people trained by their Spanish conquerors were beautifully displayed in the museum rooms in the hacienda. We gazed at ancient Inca Chicha cups, while a waiter passed among us with the other Peruvian national drink, the pisco sour. We gladly slurped up the foamy liquid made from fermented grape juice. It originated in Peru around 1700. These Inca jugs were hung from their low rings to allow easier pouring. This extensive collection in this private family museum has wonderful classical pieces, as well as whimsical vessels showing what a great sense of humor the ancient Inca had. Into an intimate dining room, we were arranged in small groups for conversation and a delightful meal. This room had family portraits, crystal, and Chinese porcelain among its artifacts.
So here we have a capres, these tomatoes. So if you get closer, you're gonna see that the tomatoes, it's peeled and it's with cheese, okay, and basil. So the sauce, the dressing here, we have a dressing that also they are preparing. Part of the ingredient is this native tomato and elderberry. So they are mixing both. Este que es aceite de oliva and olive oil, okay, if you want to put it on your salad, please.
So please.
All yours because it's self-service.
Our first course was cream soup, accompanied by quiche and a green salad. The main course had both salmon and a pork roast, served with potatoes and rice, along with a yummy gravy. Everyone seemed to enjoy their meals, complemented with both white and red Peruvian wines.
That's cheesecake. Is this a cheesecake?
That's also cheesecake.
The dessert course included both passion fruit cheesecake and chocolate mousse. However did I decide? Coffee was served as all reveled in our great good fortune at dining in this superb hacienda. We just had to thank our chef. We found 2 chefs in a large kitchen, 2 wonderful Peruvian women.
We were up early as we had a long drive ahead of us. Into the restaurant, after a night of pisco sours and wine, we were ready for several cups of coffee. Many varieties of bread were on offer. There were eggs and bacon, but I aimed at the wide selection of fruit. An unusual breakfast fruit for me, prickly pear.
Now we have a long journey to Cuyuni. First of all, we're going to go along the whole Sacred Valley of the Incas. So today we're going to be ascending from 9,000 feet of elevation to approximately 13,000 feet of elevation.
Along the road, we stopped for a baño break. There, we found a statue of Ukuku, the mythical beast, half man and half bear. We saw his masks for sale everywhere. We waited our turn for the baño, where you pay 1 sol for the privilege. Then, back on the road, driving to the Andes.
We're going to climb up the mountain to a 13,000 feet pass, which is going to be in the area of Cuyuni. That's where the Cuyuni people will be waiting for us.
We stopped briefly at the top of the interoceanic highway that links the Pacific Ocean of Peru to the Atlantic Ocean of Brazil. At this mountain pass, the highway reaches over 13,000 feet. Over the top we went, coming down into a valley that reveals one reason for the road: access to the abundance of timber that's raised near Cuyuni.
Welcome to Cuyuni, 4,185 meters above sea level, almost 13,000 feet of elevation. This is the highest point on the way of the interoceanic highway. The mountain that you have on the right-hand side over there, as I mentioned before, the name Ausangati.
In the distance, the Apu, or mountain spirit of this area, is Ausangati, a magnificent peak that reaches almost 21,000 feet. We were told that usually when visiting here, Ausangati is completely hidden by clouds.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Luis Tito, and I will be the guide of you today, and I welcome you in the name of the whole community into Cuyuni.
Thank you. En esta visita, en esta caminata que nos va a acompañar es el Ukuku.
One of the most important companions that we have is the Ukuku, and now you know who is Ukuku.
The half-man, half-bear Ukuku and the Cuyuni people greeted us with their small band, including a conch shell that would be blown periodically as they led us through the countryside. Ukuku stopped traffic so we could cross to a small chapel on the hillside. We paused briefly to capture this amazing moment. Out of the chapel came a man carrying a small shrine. His following included a saxophone, an accordion, and another ukuku. They all danced down the hill. Could you hear the conch blowing as we go? Breathing heavily at 13,000 feet, we came to a small clearing, followed by a woman with an oxygen kit. There, we found a shaman ready to perform an offering ceremony.
And it's very important to us because this is the way to show the reciprocity to the Mother Nature, to the one that we call Pachamama, Mother Nature, and to the mountains. So right now
we're gonna make this ceremony in honor of Pachamama and in honor of the mountains that are surrounding us, especially the main totem, Ausangati, that we have behind us. Okay, brothers and sisters, now we're gonna share this kintu. Kintu means 3 leaves, 3 coca leaves that he's gonna offer to you.
As the shaman went through the ritual in the Quechua language, we blew on our coca leaves, an offering to Pachamama in the sight of the mountain spirit Apu Asangate.
Ausangate, Apu Ahanako, Apu Wakuipuna, Apu Cuyuni Llaqtaypi, Patapatayo Mirador Cuyuni, Kunang Sumaktaki Indragamsaiki, Santa Teresa Mamey. Por el libro.
These are like little idols that represent different things, represent different parts.
Covisollo. No, Sumakta.
Suyo will be the interiors of the llamas, or the interiors of any animal. It could be guinea pig.
Con antaja que anta. Sumakta Mexicana Terra.
Kay
coberto antaja que Santa Teresa Mamey, Sumakta Sirica Camunki. Algodón, que puña, somaj, yorajlia, monaita, llaqtaypi, alin, o masikunak por el renampa, apukunan keva.
The way that he spread out the cotton, he says, this is very good because I'm spreading out and it looks like it's going to be successful. And now we're going to go for this. And now he's asking us to go with him to offer this to the Pachamama.
Ofertata. Santa Teresa Mamey.
Make this to be our ceremony for all of us. Let's go all together.
Apo Ausangate, Apo Wakuipuna, Apo Ahanako, Patapatayo, Cuyuni Llaqtaypi Kunang Sumakta. Que entrega eso aquí en Queijo, Despachuta Ruascanchista, Santa Teresa Mamey.
He's asking the Apu Ausangati to receive this offering to the great Lord that lies there.
Dios pagará por su inque, Guayaquipanay.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Sulpaiki.
After burning the sacred offering and sending it into the sky, we walked on, feeling overcome with emotion at taking part in this revered ritual. Then we came to another enchanted place. Several women were spinning llama wool and making rope for tying loads and tethering their llama. They continue a practice that has been performed here since ancient times, and just like in the old drawings we had seen earlier. They also demonstrated their long weaving. We were told their clothing was for daily use and not just for special occasions like entertaining visitors from North America. We were enchanted, and it's the exact word to describe our feeling on this day. Next, there was a demonstration of how to use the ancient foot plow, still in use today, to break the soil and plant the crops. The men tilled the soil and the women helped to loosen the resulting clumps of dirt. Potatoes are a high-altitude crop cultivated in the Andes since prehistory. The potato is a basic Peruvian food, and over 2,800 varieties are grown in the country. A large wooden mallet pounds the clumps to break the soil, while the women plant the potatoes. Our shaman farmer, Luis Etherio, proudly posed with his foot plow, and then allowed a wonderful selfie with me. I decided a selfie with an earring-wearing llama was also in order. Jay decided that he too wanted a picture with the colorful Cuyuni women. Thus began a love fest and picture-taking event. These gentle local people kindly joined in the photo shoot, everyone posing and looking at the resulting shots. Potatoes and cheese were brought out. They make a complete protein. These potatoes were some of the approximately 120 varieties grown here in Cuyuni. These farmers trade their high-altitude potatoes for low-elevation crops such as quinoa and corn. The kids chomp down on their potatoes and cheese along with the rest of us, all while the snow-covered peak of Hascienda sat in the distance. Out of one of the packs, the women produced a jug of tea. They went around pouring for all of us, revealing how much shorter they are than we are. Short, gentle, and so very kind.
Okay, we are in Cuyuni, the community of Cuyuni, here enjoying with the local people. They just packed the llamas.
Okay, so he says, sisters, let's go now. It's all done. It's all done. It's ready. So now we can go. So let's go.
The Cuyuni community is encouraging agro-tourism by building a restaurant for visitors. We had an honor guard as we trooped into the modern and colorful building. A Peruvian chef had prepared an attractive luncheon served on beautiful pottery dishes, laid out buffet style. The meal included red yampo flavored rice and alpaca meat. Above us on the wall were a series of charming carnival masks worn in parades during festive occasions. We loved the long-nosed ones the best.
It's right here on the left hand side. For the ones that couldn't see that before, you have the ukuku on the left hand side.
Coming down in elevation, we came to an awesome ancient stonework, once a grand entrance to this southern end of the Sacred Valley. A few of us got off the bus to take a closer look. We were enjoying getting to know each other as we had had these amazing experiences together. We went closer to the huge opening. Local legend is that the wall was originally built by the Wari, a pre-Inca people. Later seized as part of their empire, the Inca made improvements to the structure. Speculation is the knobs were used to track the heavens, to determine the solstice, and for timing crop plantings. This gate is an entry to the Sacred Valley, and from here the highway is built on top of the ancient Inca Trail. You can buy guinea pigs to go for dinner in Peru.
Take away guinea pig.
Oh, there it goes.
So next time we come through here, we can get one of those guinea pigs.
Back at our bar by the fire, we had a drink at just 9,000 feet and celebrated that no one had to use the oxygen kit. Then into dinner, where Felix Luna, once again, played his harp for us.
For approximately 1 hour and a half. 1 hour and a half, it will be the time that we are gonna be walking between the archaeological site and the town of Ollantaytambo.
Enthusiastically, we returned to Ollantaytambo. This time, we began exploring the picturesque back streets of this ancient town. Tambo means station along the way, positioned along the Inca Trail. Ollantay was a large Inca empire, Tambo, and retains its Inca grid of cobblestone streets and adobe and stone buildings. Beautifully carved stones reflect the high status of the occupant. These were lodgings, empire offices, and storage facilities for supplies. We turned a corner and were delighted. boys earned a few coins from us as we continued along, heading for the oldest continuously occupied dwelling in South America, built in the 1400s. We walked into the ancient square compound that held a cobbled courtyard and upper floor balconies, combining both dwelling and souvenir sales areas. Overhead were the ancient Inca storehouses to stock the grain grown in the surrounding crop terraces. The multi-generational occupants' laundry hung in the courtyard next to racks and tables displaying souvenirs for sale. The colors of the splendid Peruvian textiles made a wonderful contrast to the old stones of the very old compound. We entered an ancient Inca doorway. There on the floor we found numerous chubby guinea pigs next to a pre-Inca open hearth.
Of things, and this is still in use today. Still in use, but this is Inca, originally Inca. So what we have here is a real Inca house, which is still in use.
Where would they sleep?
They have a bed over there, but they also have another room across the patio on the other side. Yeah.
This have come down from
Yes, 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 yes. They have inherited this house since it was built, since the 15th century.
A fascinating collection of items hung on the 600-year-old walls. In the Inca niches, there were shrines with candles and flowers, and containing skulls of the ancestors. Next to the niches were a variety of totems, including deer skulls and a condor wing. In one corner, Erin had discovered an indigenous-style skirt. As we returned to the courtyard, she was making a decision about buying the skirt. We crossed to the other side and entered another guinea pig-covered area. All over the floor, guinea pigs scampered, leaving their droppings that would be collected for fuel in the open hearth fireplaces. This was another combination living room-bedroom souvenir shop. The beds sat below the Inca niches with more totems and the skulls of ancestors. One table had reproductions of Inca carvings, similar to the ones we'd seen in the hacienda where we'd had dinner. The large stone lintel reflected the fact that the former occupants were probably Inca nobility. Erin had made her decision. Just as we were leaving, she bought the colorful llama wool skirt from the owner of this fantastic place, the oldest home in South America. We went out onto a road that would lead us to the archaeological site, the main attraction of Ollantaytambo, with its beautiful crop terraces lining the hillside. We followed the Inca drainage system down to the entrance to Temple Hill, an area once reserved only for Inca nobility. At the entrance, there's a map with black lines representing the royal crop terraces rising steeply at the archaeological site. We'd come to climb up Temple Hill to the wall of the 6 monoliths.
Our group paused on one of the terraces used by the travelers to view the mountain beyond and the city below. The area, formerly used only by the nobility, was now laid out before us. Up further on the hillside, the top came closer. Jay, ever ready for a challenge, was first to reach the level containing the entrance to the Temple of the Sun. Mom and Van climbed, a bit slower, to catch him. I am Jay's younger sister and always ready to keep up, so I ran to the gate behind Jay. We made it to the exquisitely carved wall of the 10 niches. It borders the long path to the gate of the Temple of the Sun, a perfect place for photos showing its large and superbly cut stones. Magnificent, using only bronze cutting tools, hammerstones, and gravel to act as sandpaper, the Inca produced these rocks with their near-perfect joints into truly inspiring creations. Below, our group had paused for Yvonne to give some further information while we continued on our magnificent climb higher above the Tambo of Ollantaytambo. Jay reached the summit first. We followed him onto the plaza of the Temple of the Sun and its monumental wall of the 6 monoliths. The 6 huge slabs made of rhyolite are part of an unfinished structure at the Temple of the Sun. The delicate carving in the Inca step motif and intricately fitted stonework on these thick polished blocks are remarkable. One wonders at the effort to get these magnificent monoliths to the top of the hill. Awesome! Our group came to the top and then joined us on the plaza while Yvonne continued her explanation. Then, near numerous unused slabs, Jay and I left to take the long way around and back down to the bottom.
On this walkway above Ollantaytambo, I captured a sweeping view of the surroundings. The crop terraces look like a staircase below next to the actual narrow stairs we climbed. The beautiful wall of the 10 niches and the temple gate appeared tiny across the expanse. We could see the others just leaving, going down close to the monoliths at the nearby slabs. As the others left to go back down to the bottom, Aaron and I continued through an old doorway into an area of crop storage granaries. Fine stone carving had given way to field stone walls and stairs. This was the storage area for the royal crops from the nearby fields. One beautiful granary had its thatched roof restored. The doorway at the top allowed grain to be poured in, while the one at the bottom permitted the grain to be removed. Ingenious. Needing to meet the others, we went down the steep stone steps to a square building at the bottom. It contains the princess bath. Inside is a granite fountain with the wonderfully carved Inca step motif. We stayed only a brief time as we had to meet the others back in the souvenir area. A man, dressed as the Inca Emperor Patchacute, greeted us. Patchacute was responsible for building both Ollantaytambo and Machu Picchu, where we were going next. It seemed fitting that Patchacute greeted us here in his royal tambo. But no time to chat. We got a picture and then said goodbye. We had to board our bus. There was a train to catch.
Very excited, we walked down to the train tracks, passing under its welcoming arch to the train station for lunch. We had ordered ahead of time, only needed to decide on our drinks. We all checked our tickets to determine which carriage and seat number we had, and then left Ollantaytambo traveling on Peru Rail. We sat in groups of 4, tired but thrilled to be going to the incredible World Heritage Site, Machu Picchu. Patchacute ordered his retainers to find a suitable and magnificent retreat in the mountains. The place chosen was nearly inaccessible, in a rugged location on a plateau below Apu, or Sacred Mountains, and surrounded on 3 sides by the Urubamaba River, an absolutely unique place. Once built, only select people had permission to enter the magical royal estate. There, Patchacute and his family hosted feasts, performed rituals and ceremonies of the sacred Inca spirits. Machu Picchu was occupied around 1450 at the height of the Inca Empire. Abandoned sometime after the Spanish Conquest, the conquistadors never found Machu Picchu. For just over 3 hours, we relaxed in the Vistadome carriage. We actually were descending in elevation as Ollantaytambo sits at 9,000 feet. Machu Picchu is at 8,000 feet above sea level and 13 degrees south of the equator. We bought snacks and drinks from the service cart as the countryside slipped by. The train passes part of the Inca Trail at a bridge crossing. Today the bridge is made of metal, but it replaced an old rope and grass bridge that was suspended here. We didn't see anyone on the trail. No doubt they had gotten to their destination earlier in the day, perhaps aided by porters. Or maybe the hikers were inside one of these mountain lodges located along the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Soon we came into Aguas Caliente, a small town that sits below our fabled destination. The tracks went very close to a restaurant, the table set for the evening dinner guests. This map shows the town. On the right is the bright green soccer field and near the Urubamba River. Machu Picchu is located on the left, showing its zigzag road to the top.
Descending from our carriage, we left the very busy rail station. Then we walked through a large area of gift shops. No surprise. There was a lot to tempt us. This was a souvenir paradise. Peruvian mirrors sat near woolly llamas. A huge variety of panpipes hung with small guitar-like charango. One could spend a lot of time and money here. Across the river and into the main part of Aguas Caliente, we climbed Patchacute Avenue to our beautiful hotel, El Mapi. Pete from our tour group joined us in a picture. We had arrived. We checked in at the hotel lobby, then went to our respective rooms where Erin put on her new llama wool skirt. We had plans to meet in the bar for a free pisco sour. Just as we sat down to dinner, we heard a band passing under the window. Who needs to eat? We went down to see the parade up close. These revelers were wearing carnival masks, and our favorite one. We asked what the parade was all about. The answer was it was some Catholic holiday. We never learned which one, but enjoyed it, whatever the reason. We wandered down Patchacute Avenue in Aguas Caliente, aiming for its main plaza. There stood Patchacute, his arms outstretched in welcome to all. We were really moved to be sharing this moment together with the legendary Inca. Even though it's a corny photo, it doesn't diminish how very fortunate we felt. A Roman Catholic church sits on one side of the plaza. Pete had come with us, and we entered its sanctuary. The Catholic Spanish had ordered the complete eradication of Inca beliefs and imposed their harsh culture on the Inca people. We went back into the plaza, said farewell to Patchacute, and walked back to our hotel in the now quiet night.
In the morning, Jay and I woke early, had coffee in the lobby, and then breakfast at El Mapi Hotel. Jay, Pete, his mom, Karen, and I wanted to get up to Machu Picchu for sunrise. Many others had the same idea. The line to the bus snaked from our hotel to the bus terminal. A miniature bus was on a platform over the river, a kind of advertisement for its services. We passed the sign to the entrance to Machu Picchu and excitedly went up the zigzag road to an unforgettable experience. The fog hung over us as the crowd filtered slowly through the gate. Nearby, we came to a sign commemorating Hiram Bingham. In 1911, Hiram Bingham, a 36-year-old American professor at Yale, got the help of local officials to follow his dream of finding Vilcabamba, the legendary lost city of the Inca. He mounted an expedition on mules through the Andes to its possible location. Thrilled, he found Machu Picchu, a miraculous place covered in vines. He took pictures of the decaying round Temple of the Sun and the weed-filled Temple of Three Windows. Using his guides and local people, he documented the marvelous stone buildings of the ancient sanctuary. Bingham himself posed in front of the massive sacred rock. Far from being lost, local people cultivated food in the cropped terraces. These are photos that compare Bingham's 1911 pictures to the way these iconic images appear now. Machu Picchu is currently toured by as many as 5,000 visitors a day. Close to 1 million people visit annually. This is the guardhouse in 1911. Here is our breathtaking first view. Dazzled, we went down to the main gate with its huge lintel block and entered the magnificent poem in stone. It was truly a dream come true. After looking up at the guardhouse above us, we continued to experience the full majesty of Machu Picchu.
The rest of us arrived later at the entrance to Machu Picchu. We walked past the plaques dedicated to Hiram Bingham. Then, just at the guardhouse, we went down the steps into the spectacular stone sanctuary. We stopped on the way at the round Temple of the Sun, just above the sacred plaza with its iconic tree. Then, beyond the tree, we spotted Aaron and Jay across the plaza. They had spent the morning exploring the entire site. Our group carried on to the round Temple of the Sun, an ancient astronomical observatory. Aaron and Jay joined us and our group to share this much-anticipated family experience together. We rested briefly under a thatched cottage, showing how the roof was lashed to the stone pegs, and then out to the magnificent Andes.
Okay, so let's go down this way, please. We are going to see now the Temple of the Sun. When you look at the window, clearly you can see that the window is perfectly oriented to the east. To the east. The mountain that we have on the east over there is called Yanantin. And for our people living in this area, Yanantin is the main Apu here, the main Apu, the main mountain.
Under the observatory is a cave with stunningly beautiful carvings and a step design found predominantly in important Inca sites. These are all versions of the Chicana, a sacred Andean symbol. The room above has roof pegs, niches in the Inca trapezoid shape, and perfect stonework. Inca construction shows their amazing ability to harmonize introduced stones with those existing at the site. Its orientation shows the solstice was the major reason for this temple. Victor showed Jay where to take a picture of the magnificently curved stonework of the observatory from overhead. So Jay went up to get the photo of the Temple of the Sun from above. Our family of 4 was now together, so we could experience Machu Picchu at the same time. We got our first family photo on this day at the Temple of the Sun. We'd made it! Our dream come true. We were in awesome Machu Picchu. We began to get giddy at finally being together in this spectacular place on this magnificent day. Through ancient doorways, we came back out over the sacred plaza once again.
Above the sacred plaza is the Temple of the Three Windows. After our rest, we climb to this temple. It sits just across from the symbol of Machu Picchu. Looking over the sacred plaza, the Temple of the Three Windows is a spectacular symphony of engineering, composed of huge, perfectly dressed blocks. It contains a broken monolith and a stone with a stepped Andean Chicana motif. At one end is its magnificent wall of huge balancing boulders, its stone sculpted in perfect harmony. The plaza of the Temple of the Three Windows has another three-sided construction that sits lopsided from ground subsidence, a rare engineering error here. Seen from further back on the plaza, overlooking all of Machu Picchu, is the pinnacle of this revered area, the shrine of the Inti-Huatana. Van decided to stay below with some of the others and to video from the bottom. Jay, Aaron, and I ascended passing the spectacular and massive wall that leads up the stairs to the Inti-Huatana. A small building sits at the entrance to the Inti-Huatana. A single stone, sculpted into steps, is just next to a security boulder. Past the building lies the Inti-Huatana, hitching post of the sun. On the solstice, the sun stands directly above this pillar, and, for a moment, the sun is tied to the rock. Nearby, a magnificent stone echoes the Apu spirits in the distance. Behind the sacred rock, we learn that it's a symbol of Pachamama, Mother Nature, the goddess revered by the people of the Andes. She is the Earth, Time, Mother. Going through another marvelous door, we came to the area called the Group of the Mortars. Misnamed from past speculation, they're actually water pools for reflecting the heavens. We continue to celebrate being together here in Machu Picchu, sometimes overcome by the beauty of the place and its spiritual sensation.
Visitors were pouring into the area as we came to a spectacular sight just underneath the iconic tree, the Temple of the Condor. The original monumental rock had been augmented to form giant wings. Stones in the floor create the body, beak, and ruff of the sacred bird, the most transcendental animal in the Inca pantheon. Awestruck by the Inca creativity of turning rocks into a bird, we left and came back to just below the tree and guardhouse. I had one more place on my list. I'd left our group. I wanted to go on the Inca Trail, go up another 1,000 feet to 9,000 feet to the Inti Punku, and to enter Machu Picchu from the Gate of the Sun.
All right. Just at the Sun Gate. Now we're making our way back down, or I'm making my way back down to Machu Picchu. On the Inca Trail. Totally beautiful up here. I watch where I'm going. One foot in front of the other. And it's pretty high up here. But you knew that. Alright. Gotta get back to the bus. Got 2:30. That gives me an hour. So let's hump it on back to the bus. I said I was going to go halfway, but I went all the way. Because how can you not go all the way? Totally awesome.